From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Hello, my name is Pat Dever.
And I'm Sarah Rodzovic. Thank you for joining us. At midnight on January 20th, the United States federal government shut down. It was the first government shutdown since 2013. Natalie Chafari brings us the update on what's going on since the government reopened on January 22nd.
The government shutdown began after failure to agree on a budget. Part of this was due to disputes over the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals immigration policy, otherwise known as DACA. There was also a dispute to how funding would be allocated to support the Mexico-United States border wall. Since the government reopened, the Senate Democrats agreed to end the filibuster they proposed on January 20th. Republicans would also agree to debate on the DREAM Act before the resolution expires on February 8th. President Donald Trump gave his first State of the Union address this week. He focused on the economy, immigration, and national security. Congress now has about 1 week to come up with a new budget.
Every year, millions of Americans tune in to watch the nation's most anticipated football game of the year, the Super Bowl. The country will watch the defending champs, the New England Patriots, go head-to-head with the NFC champions, the Philadelphia Eagles. Our own Christian Carter checked the pulse of the campus to see who the favorites would be.
Now, who's your favorite NFL team?
The Giants.
Okay, and who do you expect to win this weekend?
I have no idea. Probably the Patriots, but I want the Eagles.
Who do you expect to win this weekend?
The Birds.
Why?
Because we have a great team. We're the underdogs, and we're going to ride this wave, baby.
So, Christian, I'm a Long Island guy, so, I'm going to have to say the New York Giants. As much as I don't want to say it, I'm definitely going to expect the New England Patriots to win. Definitely, I'm an admirer of some good talent. I don't think anyone's able to beat Tom, besides the Giants, of course,
Favorite team is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yay! Who do you expect to win this weekend?
I'm expecting the Patriots to win.
How come?
I believe they just have the better team overall. I hate the Eagles, so I kind of want them to lose.
My favorite NFL team is the New York Giants.
Who do you expect to win this weekend?
The Eagles are going to win.
How come? Oh, you said they're going to win, so you're pretty sure of that.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a big Patriots fan, and my brother's an Eagles fan, so I got to root for him.
And who's your favorite NFL team?
Giants.
Okay, who do you expect to win this weekend?
Definitely the Patriots, because they win every Super Bowl.
Who's your favorite NFL team?
It's the Jets.
Who do you expect to win this weekend?
As much as I want the Eagles to win, I do think the Patriots are going to win. I just think that they're a better overall team, well coached, and they have the experience and the veterans that have been there before, and they've been to the most Super Bowls. So I do think that they have the better chance and the edge over the Eagles.
So who's your favorite NFL team?
The New York Jets.
Who do you expect to win this year's Super Bowl?
I think the Eagles are going to win.
How come?
The Eagles have the 7th-ranked best defense, and I think that the Patriots' defense isn't going to be good enough to hold against Nick Foles and their offense. I mean, they just played the Vikings, who had a really good defense too, and they destroyed them. So I think that the Eagles' defense will be able to hold Tom Brady and hopefully win.
My favorite NFL team would have to be the New England Patriots.
And so, do you expect for them to win this weekend?
Without a doubt, I expect the New England Patriots to win. They have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick as the head coach. Do you need anything else?
I'm a fan of the New York Giants.
Who do you expect to win this weekend?
Who I expect? The Patriots.
Why?
Because I think they're the better team overall.
Who's your favorite NFL team?
Patriots.
Who do you expect to win this weekend?
Patriots.
How come?
Because they got Tom Brady and Bill Belichick.
All right, and that's all you need to win the Super Bowl?
All you need.
Kickoff is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and the game will be held in the U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I'm Christian Carter for the Pulse Plus.
Should be a really good Super Bowl. Two really good teams. It seemed like everyone had a hard time figuring out who they really wanted to win this one.
Definitely. You can definitely tell most of our school comes from New Jersey and New York.
And I feel for them on that one.
For many Americans, the chance to be related to a former president are slim to none. Jenna Bush Hager was fortunate enough to live under the presidency of her grandfather, George H.W. Bush, and her father, George W. Bush. She visited Sacred Heart's University campus to discuss her new book and life after the White House. Nicole Granito brings us the feature.
You may have seen her on The Today Show, or when her grandfather and father were president of the United States. But what has Jenna Bush Hager done since her time in the political spotlight? Write a book. Jenna and her sister Barbara co-authored Sisters First. The book gives an inside look at their life at the White House, challenges they faced growing up, and the strong bond of sisterhood. Jenna visited Sacred Heart University as part of the Distinguished Leaders Series. The audience gathered in the Frank and Marissa Martiri Business and Communication Center where the discussion was held. Special guests included President John Patillo and honorable donors Frank and Marissa Martiri.
Please join me in welcoming Jenna Hager Bush to Sacred Heart University.
In response to the importance of sisterhood, Jenna Bush Hager says,
"Now more than ever, we think that's important to write about, to talk about." And then we wrote this book, and through that, we got this extra time together to travel around the country. And so we feel really lucky that we spent the time to do it, because not only did we explore these stories that we hadn't thought about in years, but then we got to share them with other people.
She continued by touching upon a serious topic in today's society, sexual harassment, and how important it is to speak up.
I think that all women should feel comfortable speaking their truths. All humans should. It's not really even, to me, about women and men. It's about humanity. If somebody has felt like they have been wronged, they should be able to speak it.
Bush Hager discussed her experiences with her father as the former 43rd president, including her close bond with him and her sister.
We never judge him by his political decisions. It would be too complicated for us to do that. We judged him by the 18 years of him showing up at soccer practice. When we looked at him, we didn't see somebody that signed laws. We saw him as a dad who took such good care of us.
What I really enjoyed hearing her talk about was the importance of just family and listening to one another. She talked a lot about how she grew up with kind of such a hectic childhood, and obviously her father was the president, but he always made time to just be their dad.
In Fairfield, I'm Nicole Granito reporting for The Pulse.
Coming up after the break, we'll see how Sacred Heart remembers Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and learn about an ancient healing technique that uses sound as a form of therapy.
Welcome back to Pulse Plus. 68 years ago, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. advocated for social justice. On his birthday, we continue to celebrate his legacy as our nation's preeminent civil rights leader. Every year, Sacred Heart University hosts a reflection and celebration in his honor. Here's Salam Messier with the story.
On January 15th of each year, people around the world, including Sacred Heart University community, celebrate the leader and social justice advocate Martin Luther King. Sacred Heart University students and faculty filled the room where the celebration was held, stayed there for 1.5 hours that consisted of different activities. Patricia Walker, Dean of the College of Health Professions, thinks that such events are important for students to think deeply about topics of current interest.
In the atmosphere we're in right now, it's good to be able to have, at least once a year, an opportunity to reflect on where we're at in this country as far as race relations, social justice, and other important issues.
Singing, dancing, and talking about social justice were part of the event. Participants traveled into the past, talked about the present, and wished for the future. There was a debate panel as well, where students had the chance to ask 4 African American students about their experience as a minority in American universities.
If what you're saying is what you truly believe, nobody else is allowed to make you feel guilty about it. No one can stand in front of you and tell you that you are wrong for having feel because you're allowed to feel that.
The supervisor of this panel was Dr. Anita August, who made sure to show some contrast between different races.
How many of you, if you've had an African American woman professor, stand up? Okay, sit down. Thank you. How many of you have had an African American male professor stand up? Okay, thank you. How many of you have had a woman of color as a professor stand up? She can be African American. Great. How many of you have had a white female who's a college professor here? So we need some diversity on this campus, right?
Kareem Mabin, director of the volunteer program at Sacred Heart University and the organizer of this event, believes that SHU students are the future leaders of social justice.
I think that the students at Sacred Heart University will lead the next wave of social justice reform. And we need people to bring peace and sustainable change to our campus, to our community here in Bridgeport, and really throughout all the world.
Echoing those thoughts, Dean Walker sent a message to the American community of today.
We all have the same values. We all have the same hopes and dreams. I think it's important for all of us to understand each other. And if we do that, I think we'll be able to see the other person's point of view. And I think maybe we'll be able to resolve some of the issues we have today.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours.
Those who attended were left to imagine the impact and influence such leaders like Martin Luther King had on our societies and our world. They were encouraged to continue the fight for social justice and human rights in order to have a better future. This was Salam Komsiya for The Balls.
Many people suffer from stress, pain, and anxiety. Sound therapy has the potential to be an effective solution for all of these issues. Tracy Kroll became a sound therapist after this approach helped him to face life difficulties several years ago. Here's our reporter Fawad Al-Malki with more on sound therapy.
I didn't know about it, not in the form that I'm involved with now, but certainly music has always been a very powerful component in my life, so I certainly know its healing properties.
Sound can be a significant way to escape from noise pollution. It's not only to help people to relax and meditate, but also it can be more powerful than any other type of music.
When you put on a piece of music to listen to, you're consciously picking that piece of music. Oh, I want to listen to this now. When you're in the hands of a sound therapist, he guides you to where he thinks you need to be. It's something that you really don't have control over. Part of this process is shaking you up from the inside. You know, we all have moments of traumatic events in our lives. Sometimes people move on from those events before they really have fully processed.
By using these instruments, such as crystal balls, gongs, and chimes, Tracy Kroll is trying to help others who have had the same issues as his in past years to overcome their life's challenges.
It's my calling to do this. It helped me, and I felt very compelled to want to help others. I used to go as a patient or a client to work with some sound therapists up in Hartford, Connecticut, who were very instrumental in helping me through a difficult time in my life. a divorce in particular.
Even though displays can be overwhelming, people often come to it as individuals and groups due to many different types of issues.
I think sometimes that's a very personal reason. People are overworked, quite stressed out, having a difficult time managing all the aspects of their lives, too many balls up there at the same time, and that kind of frenetic pace of life can lead to a lot of dis-ease.
Sound therapy can be worthwhile. It can help brain and heart and can be a perfect way to relieve stress, pain, and anxiety. Also, it costs less than traditional therapy. It can be a very effective treatment. This is Fuad Al-Malki reporting for The Pulse from Chester, Connecticut.
Isn't that really cool?
Yeah, definitely a really cool holistic approach to, dealing with your body and staying in tune with yourself.
Yeah. It's incredible what you can do with stuff like that, right?
Definitely. When we come back, we'll hear from a renowned hockey legend and learn from a traveling reporter's journey as he looks to unusual stories on the Northeast coast.
I started at Sacred Heart University in 1999.
It's been incredible to see the changes we've gone through.
Clearly we were on a growth path for many years, and I think all the signs were leading towards us becoming a school.
Being a school of communications allows us a lot of flexibility.
It makes us more competitive with other schools.
It's like we've really arrived, and I think we got here because of the great students who came before and kind of brought us to this point.
Becoming a school really acknowledges all the amazing work that our students, our staff, and faculty do.
Students get involved immediately here. You don't have to wait until you're a junior. You could come in as a freshman and get involved. We have organizations and clubs.
It's very much about the future. So it really is about what we can do moving forward. That this is going to set us up so that our graduate programs are going to be able to grow and improve, that our undergraduate programs are going to grow and build.
All that's going to help us do what we've been doing all along even better.
Welcome back to Pulse Plus. Former professional hockey player Mark Messier kicked off this year's Sacred Heart University's lecture series. Messier holds 6 Stanley Cup titles, 1 from when he was the captain of the New York Rangers and helped end their 54-year Cup drought in 1994. As many Rangers fans packed the auditorium to hear Messier speak, Gabby Newtile got to interview him behind the scenes. Let's take a look.
On January 17th, former professional hockey player Mark Messier came to Sacred Heart University as part of the 2018 Student Lecture Series. Messier, a 6-time Stanley Cup champion, provided the audience with a behind-the-scenes look of his playing days, as well as how he applied his leadership skills on and off the ice. Luckily, I had the chance to interview Messier myself, where he spoke about family life and how it influenced him during and after his playing career.
For sure, my father is an amazing man. He was one of the few hockey players when he was playing that actually had a master's degree in education, so he is well schooled. Smart guy, played hockey obviously, and as a young person growing up with him, and his knowledge of hockey really helped me obviously understand the game at a very deep level. Having him coach me obviously was very beneficial as well, but I think more important than anything is that his philosophy on sport and on raising kids and whatnot really kind of gave me a really kind of clear understanding of what it meant to be a team player, the respect you had to have for the game and your teammates, and the responsibility and discipline that you needed in order to be successful.
Messier displayed his leadership skills when he led his team into Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Messier guaranteed a victory for his New York Rangers and backed up his talk by scoring a hat trick in the game over the New Jersey Devils, fulfilling his promise.
We were the two best teams in the league that year, and we being number one and the Devils number two. And I think as captain, you always try to find ways to inspire your team or give confidence to your team or evaluate your team's psyche or emotional level. And this is an opportunity I felt to let the team know that I really felt that, you know, we could win that game. I had a lot of confidence in our team, and I wanted them to know that.
Don't believe it! He said we will win Game 6! He has just picked up the hat trick!
The Egerton Theater was covered in a sea of red, white, and blue as Ranger fans, both young and old, flocked to the theater to see their captain in person. Leading the conversation for the night was Sacred Heart's own broadcaster, Randy Brochu.
Mark Messier epitomizes what it means to be a leader and the ultimate teammate. It's the accountability of, you know, it's easy to be a rah-rah guy, but to back up the promises you make and deliver on the biggest stage in New York City for the Rangers, who wanted so badly all those fans to end that 54-year drought, I think is one of the greatest moments in hockey history.
For me, the biggest thing always was that it takes a team to win any kind of team sport. It takes a real team effort to win. And how are you going to inspire everyone on the team for the common goal? And no matter how big or small the role they have. And it's not easy because everybody's motivated for different reasons. Everybody's in the different times of their careers. But trying to get everybody at the same time to be completely focused in on one particular goal is magic.
As for what's keeping Messier busy off the ice, well, he's busy providing a facility for inner city kids to skate on the ice by building the world's largest hockey arena in the Bronx. Reporting for The Pulse in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is Gabby Newtile.
You know, every time I watch the video of Mark holding the Stanley Cup, I just get complete chills. You know, and my father still talks about the Eastern Conference Final that year against the Devils, and you know, I wish I wasn't born a year late.
Yeah,
so I can see it, right?
definitely a year late. WSHU Public Radio features local, regional, and national news to everyday listeners. However, one determined reporter does more than report standard news. He shares captivating stories through his new podcast titled Off the Path. Here's Natalie Trifari with the story.
Ideas of what the medium is. Maybe it's this browser, which is Google Chrome. Maybe it's Google Docs, which is what this is in. Maybe it's
you may know him as just an adjunct professor at Sacred Heart University. But did you know that Davis Donovan is also an award-winning journalist at WSHU Public Radio? Davis got his start writing fan fiction and entertainment columns during college in Missouri. It was only then that his love for journalism really started to grow.
It was only a little later that I started thinking about, hey, you know what, I can learn to really do this in a responsible way with real journalistic standards.
National Public Radio, otherwise known as NPR, was something Davis had always listened to.
I really appreciated the idea that the news could be responsible and to a degree, you know, interesting and compelling and even entertaining, while not selling short the informative and responsible nature of it.
After graduate school, he moved to Connecticut where he worked for the Newtown Patch. However, Davis's first year in the field was a challenging one. It was the year that the Sandy Hook shooting happened.
All I could do was try to be a human and try to tell people's stories in the most responsible possible way. Even, you know, especially when it meant not telling their story, giving people privacy when they needed it, giving people distance when they needed it, and listening when they needed it.
In 2014, he started teaching at Sacred Heart and freelancing for WSHU Public Radio, a branch of NPR located on Sacred Heart's campus. Here's where Davis's love for journalism and the chase for the best possible story really came alive.
And that the theater will take seriously the new information in the times the new information in the Times report and use it to move forward. Davis Donovan, WSHU News. I think what I try to bring to it is energy and curiosity and interest to everything that I touch. Any story that I'm on, I have to bring my full passion, my full energy, and my full focus and my full interest.
This is also where his podcast, Off the Path, was born. He stems this from his creativity and love for going out into the field and finding new stories every day.
The idea, I think, is key to what I think of as kind of the central focus of journalism, which is go somewhere, find out what's going on, and that's what I always tell my students, this is what a journalist is. You go somewhere, you find out what's going on, and you tell people.
Off the Path is Davis's most recent project. His stories vary from where he travels in the New England area.
I'm really just looking for beautiful stories, fun, funny, sad, moving, enlightening stories, and telling those.
Davis has 6 podcasts already in the books, and he plans on producing so many more. The creativity and the drive for storytelling never stops.
My favorite part is constantly learning. I never want to stop learning. I want to, anything and everything, any story, any person, any place, anything. I want to be learning about everything as I'm going. I am definitely an shiny kind of person. Everything I see, I want to just go after it, follow it. So I can't think of anything better to do than just be traveling, constantly learning new stories everywhere I go.
This is nothing like having a 9-to-5 job. It has so much more meaning than that.
Like, I'm blessed. Anybody who works anything like what I do is blessed to be able to do this. I don't deserve to be able to, like, I don't consider myself working. I think of what I do as like getting up and like going at it every day. It's not work.
And for those thinking about going into the field of journalism, Davis believes that if you have the passion and the drive for good news, it will defeat all the rest.
Everybody working in here has passion about it. There's enough of us clearly to keep an industry alive, to fill the jobs. And I think there's enough people who maybe they don't do it for a living, but they're passionate about getting good news. The people who just want to yell and Donald Trump and fake news, they'll lose. And people who care about making the media landscape and the world a better place will win.
From Fairfield, Connecticut, I'm Natalie Chiafari, reporting for The Pulse.
He's a really interesting man, right?
Definitely.
I really like his passion, how he says that he doesn't feel like he's working, you know?
Absolutely.
I think
and
that's
it's
what
amazing.
it's about.
Yeah, and it's amazing to see our own Sacred Heart professor be able to do such wonderful things.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Well, that's all the news we have for now. I'm Pat Dever.
And I'm Sarah Rodsbeck. We'll see you next time on Pulse Plus.